Welcome back to Brilliant Fools. My name is Adam Green, and on this Technical Tuesday, I want to look a little bit more at cash flow. But how does cash flow actually work? How does cash actually flow? And if what we looked at yesterday in the mindset moment, if that's true, that we cast our bread on the waters, after many days it'll return to us, let's try to see how some of that might actually happen. So rather than just being conceptual and not actually applying it, let's have wisdom and be able to skillfully apply it and see how that pertains to our lives. A couple of examples I want to show for this probably will start making sense pretty much right away. First of all, I think the easiest thing for most of us who have any kind of skills, have used any skills, have started any kind of business, or had anyone pay us for like side work or anything, we can identify with this. And that is, you buy tools that you need to complete whatever project you're doing, and then you get paid for it. That's an easy way to see how cash flow works, how you cast bread on the water and it comes back to you. So in that way, that means if let's say I'm going to build something for someone, so I need to get a saw, I need a nail gun, or nails. Yeah, if I have one nail and I build something, then I'm pretty good at joinery. That's fine. So nails, nail guns, maybe I need wood glue, maybe I need things like that. If I'm doing it out of wood, who knows? Maybe I need a welder. But I get the tools necessary, and then money can come back to me. Now, if I only do that one job, it may be hard for me to justify all of these expenses. But if I do more jobs than one, then that money keeps coming back to me. And as long as those tools hold out, they keep producing more money, more money, more money. So the fact that I went out and spent the money, that I used the money, combined with my skill, means that now it's coming back to me. More money is coming back to me. That's easy for most of us to understand, especially in the society that we grow up in, which is a learn how to be an employee society, learn how to get someone to pay you for, not even learn how to do that, learn how to use skills to make money, be paid for your time. We don't really teach people how to go out and get someone to pay you for it, but that's a different story. I'm not going to get on that soapbox this time. Instead, I want to give the example, and hopefully do you see how that works? Do you see how it works to go out and buy the tools? Or maybe it's needle and thread and materials, fabrics and those sort of things, patterns, and then you buy those and then you make the actual clothes for people, and then you can go out and sell them. And then at some point, if you're successful enough in it, maybe you actually buy a bigger machine that can make a lot of the portions of the clothes on its own. So you just finish it up and then sell to somebody else. But here's where I think it really starts coming into play more than any other time. And that is when you start paying someone else to do the work. And there's two reasons why I think that's important. One is it's good to pay people. Like, this is part of the whole giving that money away, right? You're not really giving it away because you're getting something in return, which is wonderful, and you should if you're paying somebody to do work for you. But at the same time, it's how would I put it? It is a outflow of money that produces more inflow in the end. You cast your bread on the waters and it comes back to you. If you can pay other people, think of a construction site. That general contractor may have at one point in time, may have done a lot of the work on sites like that, construction sites. He may have done the framing. He may have done roofs. He may have done electrical or plumbing or something along those lines. He at least knows about it, and I think that's good. But at this stage in time, he's probably not doing it himself. He's paying others to do it. And the more he's able to pay others, the more that comes back to him. It also helps other people. And this is one of those concepts that I've heard said, which is the quickest way to get rich is by making other people rich. So the better you pay people, the more you can bring in the top talent to be able to do the highest skilled work, which you can then charge even more for. People will pay more for, which brings in even more money for you. What I don't like about that mindset is the way that I think God outlines it in his word is twofold. One, it's not ours. So in other words, it's not like I'm doing it so that I can be rich and I can make all this money and yay, it's great. So the mindset has to change in that respect. If I'm seeing it that way, then I'm like that man who built the barns and filled up his barns with all this grain. And he was like, I'm set for life. I'm never going to have to worry about anything. And God said, you fool, tonight your life is required of you. So he made it his God, money, essentially, mammon, made that what he worshiped, what he pursued, and then it went away from him as soon as he died. I've said it before, sometimes I'm so short-sighted that I only focus on the future. And I could be focused on eternity. So what are those eternal things that last after we're gone? Money is a tool. Money is a tool for eternal purposes. If you want to think of an analogy of how cash flow works, it is like a river. And a river has two things. One, it has things coming into it. So tributaries and I don't know if that's the right word for it. I don't know all the technical terms, but you got things flowing into rivers. But you also have things flowing out of rivers. And money is flowing through the river, right? But there's a source. There's always a source that river is connected to. So whether that's some mountain lake and then it flows out of it, or it's the mountain lake plus this thing, plus that thing, plus et cetera, the more connected we are to the source, the more will flow through us, flow to us, and then also be able to flow out of us. But it's never intended to stay. It's never intended to park inside of us. That's when it becomes stagnant and unuseful. So if money just kind of stays with me, and that's what I'm looking to have it do, I just want everything to pour into me, I can't contain that. It's got to flow out. I've got to let it flow out. It's got to be free flowing, but hopefully in the right places. I don't want it to overflow and flood and be bad for people. I want it to be those rivers and streams that go and give life outside of myself. But I also want to be connected to the source. Ultimately, the ultimate source, obviously, is the creator of the universe, the creator of the way money works, and that is God. So I want to be connected with him and abide in him. But also the other sources that come in, those are things like your customers. If you have a business, are you connected with your customers? Do you know them? Do you have any kind of interaction with them? And that interaction doesn't have to be super personal, but it can be something. The smaller you are, I think the more personal it probably should be. So if you're doing just a few clients worth of business every month, maybe you need to have a personal interaction with them, whether that's a note, call, phone call, something like that. As you get more and more, you may be able to get by with, videos, and newsletters and blog posts and things like that. Not for the sake of trying to look good or bring in more money or show how great things are, but really it's just for the sake of connection, of being a human, just kind of having that personal touch and that connection to the source of your income. Other sources, though, are your employees, your vendors, those sort of things. And if you want them to continue being with you and doing good work and being able to outflow and influence the lives around them, staying connected with them as well. But in the money aspect in particular, we've got to stay connected to the source and we've got to be willing to let it flow. If it's stagnant, it won't do any good. I've got to look at it as a tool. It's not a God. It's not this some amazingly good thing that I've got to grasp and hold on to. It's not an immoral thing that I don't need to keep around me at any cost. It's there. I can enjoy it, But rather than trying to be a bigger bucket to hold all this money, I want broader banks to my river. And I want to be able to flow and let that money flow out of me so that others can be blessed. And my God can bless others through me. And I can be that conduit for people to experience blessings. If I don't, what happens? I mean, what happens when less water flows through rivers? In my experience, the nature and the overgrowth starts to grow in on the banks, and that river just gets lower and lower, and eventually it can even dry up. But the more is flowing through it, the more that's allowed to flow through it, the more it becomes a useful thing. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that's understandable. I hope there were some very practical as well as broad-based things going on there. It is Technical Tuesday, so that's what the goal is here. But by all means, let me know one way or another, or let me know what other ways you can think of how that cash flow actually works. A lot of times I think people think of it in like investment terms. You park it and then it gives you a little bit of residual. I mean, yeah, you can park it. You can try to be the source, but from what I see, the most successful people and the most respectable that I know of, especially in the kingdom, they're doing it more this way. They're a river, and they're letting that money flow through them. They're using it and using it wisely, casting their bread on the waters, and it returns to them, and they do it again, and they do it again, and they bless people, and they are a blessing to those around them. And then eventually there's just so much money that's coming in, they can't even figure out what to do with it all. So it just ends up going, and then they leave a great inheritance for their children, and there's all kinds of things that come into it. But let me know what you think. Let me know what ways you can think of that money works just on the practical side of things, on the technical side of things. Until then, I'll see you next time. Thanks.